Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Ehrman.
Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in or coming back. I very much appreciate that. If you would be so kind as to leave a 5-star review when you are done listening, I would even appreciate that more. Anyway, today we are going to talk about debt. Is it good? Is it bad? Should we be debt-free? And I've had a lot of these conversations. I've seen a lot of these comments on my Facebook page. And so I thought, let's bring it up today and talk about it. First of all, being debt-free does not mean we have money coming to us. That just means we don't have money going to anybody else. And so if we look at the bum on the street, we can be debt-free just like that person, right? That person that is in an unfortunate situation who doesn't have anything also doesn't have any debt. And so do we want to just be debt-free or do we want to create cash flow? And not all debt is bad debt. So I will see somebody who maybe has cattle loans. They maybe have land loans. They might have commercial property loans. That's not necessarily bad debt if it's creating enough cash flow to make a profit. Okay? This is where I see that we get in a little bit of trouble. People will say, well, it's okay to have that tractor payment because that tractor is making me money. That combine is making me money. Okay, but if you didn't have the payment, you could hire custom harvesters, custom planters, and you would have less cash flow than you have in a payment in most cases. Now, I'm just going off of numbers that I see on a daily basis. A lot of times the neighbor guy has a tractor or a combine, and if you can hire them, it's cheaper than that payment. Because if we go buy a combine or a tractor, are we making enough cash flow off of the land to pay for that? Are we making enough cash flow off of the ground to pay for the ground? Are the cows paying for themselves? The problem comes in when we overspend and have too much debt and not enough cash flow. Debt is great if it is spent on a cash flowing asset, but it can't be a negative cash flow. It has to be positive cash flow. And then we have to decide once it goes negative, right? Because when we bought it, it was probably a positive cash flow or we wouldn't have purchased it. But now that it went negative, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to cut our losses and sell? Or are we going to work another job to pay for it? How are we going to create the extra cash flow to pay for whatever it is that's not paying for itself? So not all debt is bad debt. And a lot of times I hear people say, well, I can't start a life insurance policy until I'm out of debt. Well, I'm sorry to say, if you're farming, you might never be out of debt. And if you are out of debt, what are we doing with all the cash flow? Because I see so many people say, well, I'm debt-free. You're debt-free, and that's great, but what's happening to your profit? If you're debt-free and all your money is going back into the operation, is the operation only cash flowing enough to pay for the inputs? Where is our profit? That doesn't mean that we're super successful. It means that we're successful enough to not utilize the bank, but are we making extra profits so that we can create a policy, so that we can create additional income by buying more cows, by expanding the operation? Or are you okay with just staying stagnant and it's just level? We're always making enough just for inputs. If you're okay with that, great. But then don't be upset with somebody who's making more cash flow buying up the land around you or buying new equipment. Being debt-free is fantastic feeling. I myself do not like debt. I don't essentially love debt even in my life insurance policies. I just don't like that feeling of having a payment. But there are times when it's okay with me to have a payment because I've got some cash flow. I'm okay if something's paid off, creating enough cash flow that I am able to pay inputs and I am able to have additional income to either put in a policy or to go invest in something else. I just really want you all to understand, not all debt is created equal. And I've seen for me, it's quite a bit of credit card debt because I don't most of my clients are farmers, and farmers don't typically have large amounts of credit card debt. Now they do if they're young and they're starting out and the banks aren't lending them money. And so they're having to use credit cards, or somebody's lost a job and we've had to live on a credit card. But those same people also have 401ks and IRAs, and they're contributing to these 401ks and IRAs. And so when I see that, if we have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of credit card debt at 15-20% interest, and we're contributing to an IRA, why? Is the IRA making you 10, 15, 20% interest? Or are you making 4 or 5, or my goodness, while I'm recording this, the market's crashing? Are you making a negative and you're paying the credit card companies a bunch of money? And then you're losing sleep because guess what? You have a credit card bill and it's driving you crazy. Or it's driving one of you crazy. If you're a married couple, typically one is bothered by it, the other one doesn't really care. That is not good debt. If we can't get those things paid off every month, I love my credit card points, people. I love them. I use them. I pay them off monthly. So if we can use a credit card and pay it off monthly and get the points and use the rewards for gift cards or use it to pay back some of your card, whatever, I don't care. But if you're using it for points and paying it off, fantastic. Utilize the system. Get the rewards. But if we just have a ton of debt hanging out there, why are we paying somebody else 10, 15% interest? Let's get that debt paid off. And even if we have to put money into a policy, not always, but sometimes we've got a lot of money in savings. I've even seen that. People with a ton of money in savings, but they don't want to pay their credit card off because they don't want to have to use their credit card again. Can we take some of that money from savings, put it in a policy, and pay off the credit card and move that interest to, 5% versus 15 or 20? Definitely strategies there, but that's not good debt. Credit cards aren't great debt. High interest student loans. If you're not working in this field you went to school for, not good debt. I'm not a massive proponent of college, just go to college. If you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, or you're going into the tech industry, then great. You're going to be a plumber, a body man, a mechanic, an electrician, great. You're going to utilize that and you're going to make enough money to pay off that student loan, right? But, I'm going to go to school for business. I've heard this too. I'm going to go to school to be a life insurance agent. What? For real? All you want to be is an agent? That's different if you want to be an actuary or somebody that works on the company side and does all the legal stuff and figures out when you're going to die. Actuaries. To sell life insurance, to teach what I'm teaching, you want to go to school for that? You want to go to school for a business degree? I have a business degree. I think it's the biggest joke on the planet. I'm going to probably tick somebody off here, but I didn't learn anything about business because they didn't teach me how to run a business. They taught me whatever was in the books. I learned more on the job watching my bosses that I was working for, asking them questions, having them help me do the things they were doing and teach me and mentor me. Those are the people that I learned from. And that education I got paid for because I was working for them. I didn't learn these things in college. So it kills me even when people say, well, I'm going to go get my master's or I'm going to get an MBA or I'm going to go get a degree in marketing or whatever. You know how many people that I know in the marketing industry that they didn't go to college? Moral of the story. There's good college debt and there's bad college debt, right? Good college debt, I'm going to go to school. That education is going to create cash flow for me. Bad college debt. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to party. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to go get some general classes out of the way. And I'm going to go hope and pray that I can find a job in any field to help pay for that student loan. And then there's not enough cash flow to pay for the student loan and to live. So not all is created equal. Is debt in the policy a bad thing? No, but you must manage the debt in the life insurance policy. If you're borrowing against your policy, you must manage that debt. It's not just there and free and you can just hang out and pay it whenever you want or never. You can kind of hang out and pay it whenever you want, but you can't just let it go forever and ever and never pay it. It's not free money. So don't think that this is the answer to you not paying back loans, because it's not. If we're not getting loans paid back, there's questions. And there's things like your company. Why would you not pay back the interest or the loan to the company that you own? That's stealing the peas. If you haven't read Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, you should probably get that book. You can go to farmingwithoutthebank.com, go to the store, or go to shop, whatever it is on my website, and get Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. He talks about stealing the peas. Why would you not pay it back? Why would you not pay it back plus interest? It's debt. It's just debt to yourself. If you're not going to pay that debt to yourself back, who's more important? The banker, because you paid him, the credit card company, because you paid them, or you? So think about next time you're spending money and buying those large items, is this going to create some cash flow? Because if it doesn't, it might not be the best option to be spending money on. Is it going to, am I paying more than what the cash flow coming in is? And I've said this before, cash flow is king. Cash is not king, and I will stand beside that. Cash is not king. Cash flow is king. We need cash flow coming to us, not cash flow leaving us. When we can get that one thing nailed down, we will make a profit. And we have to do that by looking at our books. We have to do that by marketing. We're either marketing hogs or we're marketing cattle or we're marketing grain. I've got lots of people with sheep. Maybe we're marketing our sheep. Whatever. We have to market ourselves We have to understand what's going on with our taxes, and we need to know our books. That is a whole nother topic, knowing your books, and should the accountant be doing it or who should be doing it? Okay, I think I've drilled it long enough. I do believe. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have questions, comments, concerns, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. I try to check that email as much as I can and answer your questions and get back to you. But let me know if you have anything that you want me to discuss. I would very much appreciate that. And if you want to go down, leave a 5-star review, I would appreciate that as well. So we had to cancel South Dakota. We had to cancel Iowa's seminars. Due to this virus, they would not let me have more than 10 people in a room, and I was really trying to be the rebel, and I was refusing to cancel. I would have handed out some vitamin C packets. However, I understand we cannot spread it. I get it. So we are going to try to reschedule. I have no idea when. You guys know the only good times are, I only have about 4 months out of the year. And the majority of those 4 months, I'm contending with snow and horrible weather. And then you would have to cancel because of weather. If you guys want to see me, tell me what month. Email me, maryjo@withoutthebank. Tell me where you want to see me and tell me what month would be the best option. If there is a month that would work fantastically for your area that people are not in the field, they're not calving, let me know. And I did not move it to a webinar because honestly, I can't stand webinars. So let me know, where do you want to see me? If you've not gotten the book and you've just tuned in or you haven't decided yet, go to farmingwithoutthebank.com and you can get all of the books there. Wealth Without the Bank, Farming Without the Bank. You can get Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. Go there, order the book, and then give us a call. And we would be happy to visit with you. We, meaning I, would be happy to visit with you, look at your numbers, whatever. So if you have thoughts, concerns, anything else, let me know. maryjo@withoutthebank.com. And until next time, you have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.